Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a watch from MIDO with their Ocean Star 200. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as a full authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive review on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but at any point throughout this video, you have further questions, check out the link in the description where you can learn more on the product page, purchase the watch, as well as book a time with one of our dedicated watch specialists as well. But guys, let's jump into the video. Take a closer look at this watch. During the dawn of recreational diving in the late 1950s, post-World War II, Swiss-based watch brand MIDO introduced their first waterproof or water-resistant timepiece called the Ocean Star. It featured a single shell body as well as the brand's proprietary Aquadura screw-down crown technology that they invented nearly 2 decades before the release of the Ocean Star. It wasn't until this time period when recreational dive watches became common and commercially available when MIDO fully utilized this waterproofing technology, and the Ocean Star model really started to showcase what the brand was capable of. And today we're going to be looking at the modern iteration of MIDO's Ocean Star family with the Ocean Star 200, a versatile and well-executed timepiece with a ton of value in a Swiss-made dive watch for under $1,000. Now, most people are probably not that familiar with MIDO, or maybe just don't appreciate them for what they're delivering when it comes to value. But when it comes to the watch that most people are going to recognize or think about first from this brand, it's probably going to be the Ocean Star collection. Now, this Ocean Star 200 has been a mainstay in their catalog for some years now, and is probably one of the best executions of a dive watch in this general range when you're talking about a Swiss-made perspective. It brings a lot to the table and does a very good job for the money. Now, looking at this particular Ocean Star on the wrist, we have a case size of a modern yet reasonable 42.5mm across, is going to be a bit more substantial there, and thickness, we're looking at 11.8mm with a lug-to-lug of just south of 49mm. This one does have a bit more of an extended end length that's going to add some added dimension to its wear. So 42mm is going to be rather true to its size on the wrist. Now, one thing that's going to be working in this watch's favor when it comes to dimensions is going to be the thickness. Now, at 11.8mm, that is stacking up quite well against the competition. Maybe when you're looking at the likes of the Rolex Submariner, that's going to be thinner than that. Also looking at the Tudor Black Bay 58, pretty much a direct parallel to the thickness on that watch, where that's one of the #1 selling traits of that timepiece. Now, with the broader dimension across, this can give it a bit more of a dinner plate type effect in certain instances, but again, does wear pretty true to that 42mm size. The Ocean Star 200 case comes in a predominantly brushed finish with small touches of polished edges across the lugs as well as other case elements. Now, one of the things that's become pretty uniform for the MIDO Ocean Star 200 as well as some other MIDO Ocean Star models that we've looked at in the past, such as the Tribute as an example, is going to be the crown guard design. Now, it's going to really encapsulate much of that crown and is going to extend out from the case a bit there. Now, it is going to come to more of a point compared to some other crown guards on the market. With this approach, it can be a little bit more difficult to get your fingers on when you're dealing with these crowns in the screw down variety, but it will keep it protected and help this watch maintain 200 meters of water resistance. The uniform brush finish is going to extend from the lugs onto that bracelet, all having a polished edge to it. Now, in terms of the bracelet, that is actually the real star of the show here in many aspects, and is a point that you can't overlook. MIDO, in terms of their bracelets, I think are actually one of the best from a more mainstream brand, of course MIDO being underneath the Swatch Group umbrella, just delivering one of the best packages with their bracelets. Now, this one is well finished, a couple things going for it, great articulation, very breathable, getting some solid brushing and just breathable comfort that comes on the underside as well. In addition to that, you're getting screwed in links, which is seldom seen in this price range, but the clasp is also a point of emphasis. Now, for this clasp, you have 2 separate points of dual pushers. Now, the first set of dual pushers is going to operate in similar fashion to many on the market. It's going to lock and unlock that clasp, but the second point of pushers are going to be another point of emphasis because it allows some of the best on-the-fly adjustment that I have found in this price range. This could be used as a true diver extension, but also in probably more often than not context, it's just going to allow some on-the-fly adjustment for wrist swelling and things of that sort. The clasp is very well constructed, well finished, going to have a polished edge just like the other elements of the case and bracelet, and adding to the customization in terms of sizing are going to be some half links that are also going to be present in that bracelet. The Ocean Star 200 is equipped with a 60-click unidirectional bezel fitted with an anodized aluminum aluminum insert, which is blue for this variant to match the dial. The count-up display is printed cleanly, and it terminates with a rectangle plot with the lume pip inside at that 12 o'clock position. Engaging the bezel is drama-free, as it provides solid tactile feedback when rotating into position. And when it comes to the bezel action, it is rather easy to engage and also will have very minimal lateral play. Leaning into this contemporary form, this MIDO Ocean Star comes with a flat sapphire crystal with some anti-reflective treatment on the inside and outside, so that's really going to allow this one to just kill any glare, and it looks great from pretty much every angle, and at certain angles, looks like you can almost grab the hands without any obstruction. In regards to this dial, this one is going to come in a traditional navy blue, very mass appealing, and is not going to be conflicting with most modern tastes out there on the market. It's going to have a subtle finish. It has, when examining close, kind of a line brush style finish with a moderate sunburst effect when glancing at it underneath the light. The general layout is rather simple. Along the outside, you have a minute track with applied markers containing superluminova within them to denote the hours. The 12 o'clock as well as the 6 o'clock are going to have this double stack square design in terms of those markers to allow a nice set of orientation as well as differentiating from those other points. At that 3 o'clock, you have that day-date complication coming with a pretty simple outline. Minimal text on this one, MIDO at the 12 o'clock with automatic just beneath. Ocean Star being at that 6 o'clock with the complement of orange with the caliber 80 being present right beneath that, which will also work in tandem with that second hand with that orange triangular tip, also containing lume. The rest of the hands come in a polished baton style with lume at the end and hollowed out central point set inward. In terms of the lume on this piece, it is quite strong. I wouldn't say it's its #1 leading attribute, but certainly will do the job, especially when comparing it to like the MIDO Ocean Star Tribute, which is going to have that printed dial, not as much of a supply of luminescent material on this dial. This isn't going to be quite on the level of like a Seiko LumaBrite, but still is going to have some nice legibility in darker environments. There's really nothing controversial about this dial, and it's really going for that mass appealing, do-it-all Swiss Army knife type of dive watch, and that's only going to be furthered as we move over to discuss the movement. Flipping the Ocean Star over, we can find a solid case back that's secured to the case with 5 screws, which is an interesting choice for a dive watch, but in the center we have an embossed aquatic motif in the form of a sea star, which is raised and polished against the otherwise matte finished surface. But beneath that case back, we have the MIDO caliber 80, basically a base movement around an ETA caliber, the C07621. Now when it comes to MIDO in terms of what they are offering from a movement perspective and just their reputation in regards to precision and the movements that they're utilizing. Now they're really known for their production of many cost certified movements or chronometer certified movements that they're packaging within their watches. Now this one is not going to be COSC certified, but they have a reputation of producing some of the most Swiss certified chronometers in the entire watch industry, being close to the top 5 if not the top 10. That information is not made public like it once was, but MIDO really does have a strong reputation in regards to their regulation and what they're packing within their movements. Now this particular movement, and being a member of the Swatch Group, you get the added benefits that come with access to movements of this type. This one's going to follow suit with many of their other movements, dropping a 4 Hz beat frequency down to 3 Hz and allowing the maximization of that stored energy in the mainspring to extend the power reserve here to 80 hours, nearly doubling that from the base. Now MIDO does offer a few different variations of this movement when it comes to up specifications. You're getting an SI hairspring in some of these, as well as some chronometer certifications as mentioned. This particular one is more of the bare bones example, but still is running with great accuracy. This one running just a few seconds off from perfect time of day. That is anecdotal evidence, of course, but usually MIDO, I find with many of their watches, are doing a nice job with the regulation and what they're delivering in the final package. In regards to this movement's operation, just to unpack it one final time, 21,600 vibrations per hour, 3 Hz. It does feature hacking and hand winding, hacking stopping the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve of 80 hours. So now for some final thoughts on this MIDO Ocean Star 200. To begin here, I think we should just provide some context into what else is out there in the range. Now, just a little bit south, you have many of the Seiko dive watches from the Turtles as well as the Samurais and things of that sort. You also have the Tissot Sea Star. And then above this watch, you have watches from Oris as well as Longines with their Hydro Conquest, maybe from Rado. But where this one is sitting is in an interesting spot. For around $900, it is in a range that is very hard to compete with. You have things above it, things below it. But the truth is, in terms of what is packaged here, it provides much of what is being offered by brands that are in a higher price bracket for $900. And then also when looking at the things below it, there are just things that the MIDO Ocean Star is just going to excel in. It's going to just deliver a better package at the end of the day than many of those that are going to come in a little bit cheaper. In regards to the bracelet, I think that's the #1 point of differentiation that I am going to recognize. I think this bracelet stacks up better than anything else that you're going to find cheaper than that from a dive watch perspective. But then in addition to that, in regards to the movement, getting an 80-hour power reserve, well-finished dial with that anti-reflective treatment on both sides, there is a lot to like, and this one is positioned in a very unique bracket of price for around $900 that I think it stacks up incredibly well. Now, there are some downsides when it comes to this watch, mostly being the size of this particular variant. If you wanted something a little bit smaller, I would look at the MIDO Ocean Star Tribute. This watch does wear like a true 42 millimeters, so just keep that in mind. That might size some people out. Lumen, this piece isn't class leading, but still very good. But if you have to put it simply, this is perhaps one of the best value packed propositions from a dive watch that's being Swiss made for south of $1,000. At least is on a short list, but could be that watch for around this price, as it is positioned in a range where not many other brands are looking at. This brand and MIDO as well as Certina, I think, are the only ones playing in this field, and I think they're honestly, quite frankly, the best at it. All right, guys, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That really does help out the channel. But also, if you're in the market for this watch, check it out on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is a full authorized dealer of all the brands we carry, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support. All of our products also come with a full factory warranty as well. And finally, 9 out of every $10 that we generate goes right back into the content that we're creating here, as well as on our main channel, to help foster up a new generation of watch enthusiasts in the process. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.